The officials, Bennett Salvatore, working with Louis Grillo and Courtney Kirkland. The Hornets at 8-5. They have won 3 in a row, although 2 of those wins over Oklahoma City and 1 over the Clippers. And the Nuggets coming at 10 up, 5 down. They have won 8 of their last 10 games. So Phillips and Denver in control. And since the trade was made for Chauncey Billups, the Nuggets have won 9 of the last 11.
Playing at a great tempo right now. Their defense has improved, Marv, and they have a real confidence and swagger about themselves. See, Chauncey Billups, when he plays against smaller point guards, he likes to go down in that low post. We saw that very often when he was playing for the Detroit Pistons.
Chauncey only 2 for 10 in the win last night against the Clippers, but he did have 11 assists. You see, they try to trap Paul. This is Armstrong off a spin, and he draws the foul.
Well, Hilton Armstrong, very important tonight, Marv. You've already spoken about Tyson Chandler being away with the birth of his son. We congratulate him on that. But this is a New Orleans team, and actually, if you look at Denver, if you would say, you know, what are your concerns? Both of these teams are very thin on the front line. They don't have a lot of depth. And so Hilton Armstrong tonight, in the starting line of Melvin Eli will come in, Sean Marks. So they're going to need all those bodies tonight against this very potent Denver front line.
Hilton Armstrong in his 3rd season out of Connecticut, 1st-round pick, 12th selection overall. Just a 50% free throw shooter. Has not shot at the line much. And this is his 3rd start of the season.
Actually, 2 of them on national TV. The last time we had New Orleans, Tyson Chandler missed that game with an ankle, so Hilton Armstrong likes to see us.
Are you saying Tyson trying to stay away?
Tyson does not like to see us. He's hiding right now.
Off the pump, Phillips not able to hit, kept alive by Martin. Anthony played by Stojakovic here at the start. Nice pass. Nene is fouled by Armstrong.
Big concern tonight when we talked to Byron Scott before the game, Marv, you and I, was rebounding the ball and matching up and defending the paint. And you've already seen here early an offensive rebound. Nene doing a nice job slashing from that weak side. And Carmelo Anthony, his game is much more well-rounded this year. He's looking for the pass, Marv. He's rebounding better. His scoring is down, but this is a much more balanced Denver team.
Byron Scott also making the point, after we opened up at 3-0 and the Hornets lost 5 of 7, he said we seem to lose our edge, a lack of energy. Byron told the players, stop reading the newspapers, forget about your clippings, because they were looking back at what took place last season.
Now they went through a stretch where they lost 5 of 7, and Marv, you spoke about it a while ago, they've won 3 in a row, but those 2 teams combined are 3-25 on the year. So is that fool's gold, or is New Orleans playing better?
Sue Butler handling against Chauncey Billups. Billups got picked off, but able to recover. The shot by West. Butler with the save. Nice play. And they have the new clock. Armstrong gets inside, but it will not count. He's called for steps.
He got a little excited there. He saw Chauncey Billups and got in a hurry, shuffled his feet.
Denver Nuggets here at home have won 5 and lost 1. They dropped their home opener to the Lakers. So since then they have won 5 in a row. Last season, an excellent home team, among the best at 33-8. There's the alley-oop, beautifully done. Dante Jones able to put it down.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if we start seeing a little bit more of that. With Allen Iverson here, you didn't see so many layups and dunks and alley-oops as you did with Andre Miller. Now with Chauncey here, we'll see if we see more of those.
Anthony off the steal. He took it away from Stojakovic.
Again, a very low energy start for New Orleans right now, and this has to concern Byron Scott. Denver playing in a back-to-back. They played a tough game last night in LA, and New Orleans hasn't played since Monday.
West backing his way in. Nice move as he goes right at Kenyon Martin.
Oh, he's so good. And, you know, Marv, he's been much more aggressive in that low post. I think he fell in love with his jump shot in that 7 games where they went 2-5, and been much more aggressive over the last 5 or 6 games.
Phillips able to get the step. Went to the pull-up.
You know, when you play against a guy like Chris Paul, you want to keep him busy on both ends of the floor. They're going to try to trap him and make his life difficult, and then they're going to make him work defensively.
Dante Jones chasing Chris Paul around. Phillips very aggressive. Came up with the steal. Finds Jones.
Well, that is Denver Nugget basketball. They love to create turnovers, especially here at home. They're one of the best in the league, stealing the basketball. They're second in steals, and they're third in points off turnovers. So a very sluggish, slow start here for New Orleans.
Well, the Nuggets off to the 12-4 lead. Here is Paul. Nice move by Armstrong, getting inside on Martin for the tip. Byron Scott continues to try and encourage Hilton Armstrong. Says recently he has liked his aggressive play as Martin makes his move. The officials want to talk about it. A foul was called. The call is against New Orleans.
Well, it's interesting, Mark, with the matchups now, Rasul Butler is playing Chauncey Billups, and he's doing that to take away his post-up, and Chris Paul is playing Dante Jones, so he can roam defensively. And then on the other end, you see Dante Jones playing Chris Paul, so a little tweak in the matchups there. That means you have cross-matching, and in transition, you've really got to talk.
Foul was called on West. Here is Anthony off the mark, handled by Stojakovic. Chris Paul leads the NBA, averaging better than 12 assists per game. Also leads in steals. Nene up on Butler. Butler, nice swing move to create some space as it was played by Nene. And comes right back to Martin and scores.
They will make him make that shot tonight. We talked to Byron Scott. They want to keep him out of the paint. They'll live with oh my goodness. Oh, what a move by Chris Paul.
And able to get it back and set it up. Rasul Butler from downtown. So the Hornets right back. They're within 3. Talking about Kenyon Martin. How about a 10 for 10 performance this past Sunday, including a late three-point shot as the Nuggets beat the Bulls here in Denver.
The only guy for the Denver Nuggets to ever shoot better than that in a game was my old teammate Bobby Jones in Philadelphia, 12 of 12, as Rasul Butler has found the hot hand, now hitting 3 in a row.
Bobby Jones did it back in March of 1978 when Kenyon was 3 months old. Game is tied at 14. Rasul Butler 3 for 3 from the field, including 2 threes. Nice hesitation move by Paul. Took a couple of bumps along the way. West with the open shot, rebounded by Martin. Billups cut off by Stojakovic. Chauncey was 1 on 3. Everybody else hanging back. Game is tied at 14 as we approach the halfway mark of this opening quarter. West with a nice move.
See, I like what he did that time. It looked like he was going to shoot the little 18-foot jump shot, and he had patience there. And he got the ball in the paint. And Marv, I said, I think earlier in that stretch where they lost 5 of 7, he was settling too much for outside jump shots. He's got to get to the free throw line more often.
12-2 run by the Hornets. They lead it 16-14. Reach and foul as Butler came over to help out.
You know, when I think of New Orleans, I think of Chris Paul's motor. I think of David West post-game and his rebounding. Tyson Chandler's interior play. Peja Stojakovic's three-point shooting. And I said that to Byron Scott before the game. He said, we've been doing about 1.5 of those things here early in the year. So he needs those 4 guys to really kick it in.
Billups turning the corner. Good play by Butler. Shot clock to 3. Billups with a long 3. Rebounded by Armstrong. Byron Scott telling us that he feels the Hornets are playing at a pace that he is not comfortable with. So we have to get our possessions up. Feels that the team has to play more up-tempo. The foul is on Nene. That is his second. And now here's Melvin Ely off the Hornet bench coming on for Hilton Armstrong.
Well, Mark, to follow up with that spot about what you were talking about with Byron Scott, they're taking 8 less shots a game this year than they did last year when they averaged over 100 points a game. They're in the top 10 in all 3 shooting categories, and their defensive numbers are all very good. Their shot attempts are down, and that's really what's hurting them, just the pace at which they're playing.
West off the turnaround is fouled by Martin, who did not like the call. Linus Kleza has come on now for Nene, who had picked up the 2 early fouls. So West to the line. And we remind you to check out TNT Overtime Extra on NBA.com to watch exclusive player cams for tonight's game. Fans can vote for which players they want to watch each quarter and chat with other fans from around the country. TNT Overtime Extra only on NBA.com. This is the second of our TNT doubleheader. Earlier tonight, Orlando defeating Washington 105-90. So the Magic now 12-4. This is Devin Brown checking in for the Hornets. And the Magic, winners of 9 of their last 11. Dwight Howard, 26 points, 14 rebounds.
Well, this is a little bit what we were talking about, the tempo of which the New Orleans Hornets have been playing in the wins and losses. What they've done, their numbers and the wins well over 100, and then how they've struggled in the losses. And you can see it right there in the losses, under 87 points a game. Look at their shooting, 3-point percentage, turnovers. So offensively, this is a team that when they're playing well offensively, they score 100-plus points. Again, Marv, they're 6-0 this year, 48-3 over the last year and a half.
Nice pass, but Jones not able to finish. Well, this is a New Orleans team. Pretty pass off the dribble by Paul. Hornets, well, nearly had it back. And Jones throws it away, so New Orleans will be back in possession. But the Hornets last year won 56 and lost 26. 56 wins, a franchise best. Second seed in the West, just a game behind the Lakers. In the playoffs, first round, they knock off Dallas in 5, and then they lose in the Western Conference semis in 7. In a game 7 at home in New Orleans, they lost to the Spurs.
It's a game which you did. Here's Stojakovic. This is his shot. When he makes that shot, he spreads the whole defense and gives Paul room to work. But, Marv, you did that game 7. It really was the maturity and the poise of San Antonio that won that game. New Orleans showed their youth, and they've all talked about learning from that game and being better this year.
Meanwhile, the Hornets with a 16-2 run to take a 6-point lead. Again, the intended pass for Jones.
That's those high-risk plays that you don't need to take. Just make the simple play. George talked to us about that before the game. Actually, their big men are the ones who are committing the turnovers, not Chauncey Billups.
Eli coming up short. Glazer able to get to that rebound. There's Anthony going at Stojakovic, and he's called for a bombing violation.
Carmelo Anthony has not found his rhythm on offense this year. His other numbers are up, his rebounding, his assists. Last night, it was interesting, Marv. He scored 30 points in the game. It's the first time all year that a Nugget player has scored 30 points. Last year, it happened 51 times. This was the first time this year that happened last night.
Carmelo doing it in the win over the Clippers in L.A. Only 8 of 21 from the field, but had 16 free throws, hit 14 of 16. Oh, pretty pass. Somehow, Chris Paul saw Melvin Eli, and the Hornets rolling. They now lead at 22-14. The crowd reacting as J.R. Smith checked in just a moment ago. He was benched last night for the game against the Clippers. No hesitation in firing one and scores. He was benched because he was, quote, extremely late to practice on Monday. And George Karl said he's being tougher this season. And it's certainly easier to be tougher on the rest of the squad with Allen Iverson not on hand, although Allen had a very good relationship with George, but there has to be a little bit more slack involved.
Absolutely, and you, as you see this Nugget team that's on the floor now, this is sort of what I call their wild card group. When you put J.R. Smith out there with Lennox Glazer, those two guys are very capable of shooting the three. And if Denver has a weakness offensively, they're not a great perimeter shooting team. So when Glazer and J.R. Smith shoot the ball well, it just opens up so many things. It's a lot like Stojakovic when he shoots the ball well for the New Orleans Hornets, how it opens up for David West and for Chris Paul to get into that lane.
Byron Scott sending on James Posey, replacing Peja Stojakovic. James Posey signed as a free agent after his role as a key player on last year's Celtics championship team. Now that will count. Would have been a goaltend. Contact was made, so David West gets credit. And the Hornets now lead at 24-16.
Was it 12-2 at one time? Is that what it was?
It's actually 16-2.
16-2, so my goodness.
3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Plays it off the mark. Oh, Smith tried to put it down. Anthony with the save, but he stepped out.
Welcome back to Denver, where the Denver Nuggets are on a 9-2 roll with Chauncey Billups since he arrived in that trade from Detroit. And I asked Carmelo Anthony, I said, how long did it take Chauncey Billups to command respect of the team and become the team leader? He said as long as it took him to put on that uniform. And if you look at that uniform, a different number from Chauncey Billups, number 7, the most famous number in Denver sports history. Previously, he wore number 1 and 4 in his NBA career, but those numbers taken by J.R. Smith and Kenyon Martin. But he's a big Broncos fan, and he called up John Elway and said, I'd be honored if I could wear number 7. And John Elway said, remember, I won back-to-back Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos and then retired. Chauncey said that'd be a great way to go out.
Okay, I didn't realize he had to get permission from John Elway to wear number 7 with the Denver Nuggets. Wait a second, there's something wrong here.
Just a little co-signature on that, I guess.
As they say, no disrespect for John Elway, as Eli is fouled, and he will head to the line. Foul committed by Glazer. Melvin Eli, in his 7th NBA season out of Fresno State, originally a first-round pick of the Clippers. This is his 2nd year as a member of the Hornets and getting additional playing time tonight because of the absence of Tyson Chandler. And here's the Birdman, always a popular player here in Denver, Chris Anderson, who has been out with fractured ribs. He's wearing a chest protector. He'd been shooting and doing some cardio workouts. Did dress for the game last night, but making his appearance here following the fractured rib injury. This is J.R. Smith going 1-on-3. Anderson is so active off the boards. On the putback.
Well, when he comes in the game as well as Fernando Bachman, you've got to keep those guys off the glass. You do not want to give them those kind of easy second chance opportunities. It's a great energy lift for his team.
2 minutes remaining.
Hornets up by 8, just under 2 to go in this first quarter. Oh, nice fake by Eli around Anderson.
A little show and go there. A quick move on the baseline.
Billups played by Devin Brown. Martin. The Hornets do not mind seeing Kenyon Martin taking those perimeter shots.
I think they like the fact that you make his first couple out there. Maybe he'll stay out there and keep shooting that jump shot rather than get into the paint.
Here's Posey for 3. Rebounded by Anderson. Smith met by Brown. Good feed, and Anderson hammers it down.
It's not taking long for him to have his little imprint on this game. An offensive rebound for a score. Nice slash cut to the basket. A give and go there from J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith made a couple nice plays. Hit a jump shot, a couple nice feeds.
Chris Anderson trying to get his career back on track following that drug suspension. He was reinstated last March. Began his NBA career with Denver several years back. And a foul is called. He actually began his career with the Nuggets as the D-League's first ever call-up.
There's the energy hustle play. You've got to get a body on him when he's in the ball game, and then the dunk, the nice little give and go. That time J.R. Smith gets the ball into that little painted area, slash and cut to the basket when your defender turns his head, and good things happen.
Anderson called for that foul, putting Eli at the line. The Nuggets are over the foul limit.
Marv, as you're watching this New Orleans team, Byron Scott, I talked to him the 2nd game of the year in Phoenix, and he's still trying to figure out his bench. And the big thing he's trying to figure out is that backup point guard situation. And what he's doing is he's coming in with Devin Brown now to play with Chris Paul. He'll take Chris Paul out to start the 2nd quarter, come back with Rasul Butler, and Devin Brown will be the backup point guard. Devin Brown has played very well, but I still think that that's a work in progress for this team. Gennaro Parker last year was such a big part of the team as a backup player. We saw him very often in the 4th quarter play with Chris Paul with his shooting. It was so important to have him on the floor at the end of games.
How about Melvin Eli? 8 points in 5 minutes. Smith J.R. Smith, who has come out firing. That's his second field goal. And the Hornets now lead at 30-22. Julian Wright looking to throw down low, and a 3-second violation is called. So the ball back to the Nuggets. Anthony Carter working the point, gets it ahead to Smith, who's picked up by Paul. Kenyon Martin say, hold back, wait a moment.
You have to go take that ball out of J.R. Smith's hands right now. He is hungry to score.
2-second differential between the game clock and shot clock as this first quarter closes down. Smith lost it. Here's Brown, final seconds, Brown. Nice play off the steal with 2 seconds to go in this first quarter. Well, Paul looking for the steal.
After a slow start, you called a timeout and you went on an 18-2 run. What the heck did you tell your team?
Well, they were kind of talking, and I just kind of told them to be quiet for a second and just we can't turn the ball over. And I told them it was going to be a physical game. We got to get tougher and we got to play harder. Give them one shot, we'll get anything we want on the offensive end, and they started to do that. They just calmed down and started playing better basketball.
You got 2 starters, Mo Peterson, Tyson Chandler. How does that affect how you're using your bench?
Well, it pretty much means that pretty much almost everybody's available to play. You know, I'm going to have to use a lot of people, you know, in this altitude. You know, we want to run up and down the floor, but they play some funky lineups, so we got to be ready to kind of match their energy and the guys that they have on the floor. Thanks, Greg.
Byron Scott, last season's NBA Coach of the Year, as the second quarter gets underway. Devin Brown took a bump from Linus Kleza. Doug, as a player, were you affected by the high altitude?
You know, I think, Marv, what you did is you got fatigued early, and then you got your second wind quicker. And I found out that, you know, a lot of times you come in there and you just play, and a lot of it is psychological. But, you know, you did feel it early, but once you got that second wind, I didn't think it was ever a factor.
How about as a broadcaster?
It wears me out. I mean, I'm winded here right now. That's why I'm laying out here, you know, just trying to catch my breath here at this tempo of this game, 33-22.
See, I am affected psychologically by the altitude.
And this is going to be an interesting lineup for New Orleans now, because that's a team out there right now. You say, who's going to score the points for them? And Posey's a spot-up shooter. Devin Brown's a point guard, but they're going to have to do it on the defensive end with this group.
Nene is back. Nene off the lead pass with the stuff over Julian Wright.
That's good to see him back. This young guy, Nene, came into the league with such great credentials, just been hurt. He's gone through the cancer and all that this young guy's gone through. And you hope he can stay healthy this year. He and Nene, they have to, I mean, he and Kenyon Martin have to stay healthy. Very thin front line.
As Posey made the turn, a traveling violation played well by Anderson.
It's one of the things they've really worked on now, spacing this floor and the guys rolling through the middle, and you're going to see this a lot. Nene with the finish, Kenyon Martin, they love to roll and dunk that basketball. You also will see that as well with Carmelo Anthony when you see Chauncey Billups on the floor.
Nene making it back from testicular cancer. He's played in only 81 games over the past 3 seasons, has not missed a game thus far this year. On the turnover, the Hornets get it back. Last year, Nene appeared in only 16 games.
And Marv, this is what I was talking about, the key. I mean, they're banking on these 2 guys being healthy, and you can see over the last 4 years, both of these guys have missed a lot of games with injury, with no Marcus Camby going to the Los Angeles Clippers in a deal to try to get under the luxury tax as Melvin Ely misses the jump shot. Those 2 guys are critical if Denver wants to make a run this year in the playoffs.
Smith from the angle for 3. J.R. Smith with 7 points in a hurry. There's Brown, rejected by Anderson. Smith, yes.
Need to stop. Hey, stay up, stay up. Hey, what you got, what you got, what you got? Hey, y'all can switch everything, okay? Melo, congratulations on that gold medal, baby. Way to bring it back home.
All right, Byron Scott with kudos for Carmelo Anthony, a member of the gold medal winning team in Beijing. Byron in his 5th season as head coach of the Hornets, spent 3.5 years as the head coach of the Nets. His team's going to the NBA Finals 2 straight seasons, winning 52 and then 49 games. Carter with the steal. And a foul on Hilton Armstrong as he tried to get it back. Denver on an 8-0 run. Devin Brown had opened up the second quarter with a couple of free throws. That gave the Hornets their biggest lead, up by 12. But since then, it's been 8-0 for the Nuggets.
Well, my concerns with this lineup, as I spoke about a while ago, is who's going to score. And really, they don't have a true point guard on the floor right now, so they're turning the basketball over. So what Byron Scott's trying to do is buy a little time right now. He had a little lead, and now he's just trying to buy some time and get David West and Chris Paul some rest.
Smith coming off the pitch with an open three. J.R. Smith has had the hot hand. He's now 4 of 7. He has 10 points in 6.5 minutes of play. Brown finding Posey, was actually looking for a screen. Butler, played by Smith. Armstrong. Picked off again by Carter, his second steal. And Smith is fouled. Right into Butler. No, apparently it's Armstrong who picked up his third.
Well, that's a good substitution. You could see Byron Scott's going, I've got to get an offensive player on the floor right now. So he's come in with David West. So really, that lead that New Orleans was able to build really was sort of a saving grace for them right now. They've gone through a little tough stretch, but they still have the lead as they bring David West now back in the game.
And passing out an open shot. Double team. Deflected out by Posey. The Nuggets at 10-5. They are on top of the Northwest Division. They have won their last 8 of their last 10, including wins at Boston and at San Antonio.
I think they've been one of the real surprises to start the year when they lost Marcus Camby to the Clippers. I didn't think there was any way this team would be where they are right now. Another turnover from behind here.
Once again, it was Anthony Carter got a piece of it. I wanted Carter to take the shot.
They don't have to beg him.
And I'm sure George Carter's happy that J.R. Smith is shooting the ball because he's on fire. 5 of 8, 12 points in 7 minutes of play. Denver now within 2.
And it's been the turnover story once again as Devin Brown lines up the 3.
There's Carter with the outlet. Smith for Glazer, and he puts it down.
What a beautiful play. Looked like a Wes Unseld outlet pass there on the fly. And J.R. Smith caught it and dropped it off to Glazer. So Glazer and J.R. Smith have been the offense, and Anthony Carter's really been the spark defensively.
I love when you use Wes Unseld as a point of reference.
I absolutely. Did anybody do it better?
The quick trigger on the outlet. Foul is called. It's on Carter making contact.
Watch this long outlet pass, and all in one motion. The ball does not hit the ground, and Glazer with a nice finish. Glazer said he's starting to get his legs back. He played all summer with Lithuania. Spent a lot of time in the gym this summer. Had a tough training camp. Did not get a new contract when he thought he was going to get it here early in the season. And I think his mind and body are just starting to get back into it for Denver, and they need him.
West looking to put an end to the 12-0 Nugget run. A reminder, on December the 7th, the Librarian returns. From the producer of Independence Day comes the Librarian, Curse of the Judas Chalice, starring Noah Wiley. The final chapter begins Sunday, December the 7th at 8 only on TNT. You talk Wes Unseld, I talk Noah Wiley and the Librarian. Hornets up by 2. We are early second quarter. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Craig Sager. We're at the Pepsi Center in Denver. Courtney Kirkland with the call. James Posey. And a non-shooting foul, 13 foul on the Hornets. Chris Paul is back, defending on Carter. Nene makes his move. It's an offensive foul. But Salvatore with the indication that Nene hooked the defender. That's 3 on Nene.
Yeah, we did not have a great angle, Marv. It was away from us. I could not see that. It looked initially like David West had bumped him out of bounds. I could not see his left arm, but Bennett Salvatore was right on this. Looked like he said he grabbed his arm. That's Very touchy foul there with two big guys banging down in that low post.
Kenyon Martin returns, replacing Nene. Stojakovic is back.
They got to get Stojakovic some shots. He only took one shot in that first quarter in about 8.5 minutes of action. They need him to get some shots just like this on a little backdoor cut right on cue.
Nice pass from West. That previous shot by Stojakovic was a 3. Hornets up 38-34. Glazer trying to get the step. Posey got a piece of it. West looking for help. Stojakovic backing his way. Paul gives it right back. Stojakovic. And it's deflected out. Last touch by Anderson of the Nuggets.
Actually, good defense on J.R. Smith. That time he bodied him up and forced him to take a very difficult fadeaway jump shot. People forget that Peja Stojakovic is a good 6'9", Marvin. Probably weighs about 235 pounds. He's a lot bigger. We think of him being an outside shooter, but he's got excellent size.
Peja has not been shooting well, just 37% from the field and about 38 from three-point land. Another rebound for Anderson. Coming up on 6 minutes to go in this first half. Thanksgiving night in Denver. Carter put a foot on the line. It was a two-point attempt.
So that's an empty possession right there. You hold the ball and then you swing it to Anthony Carter, who's not a good distance shooter. So that was not a good possession for the Denver Nuggets.
Carmelo Anthony is back on the floor. He's been quiet to this point. Shot clock down to 3. West looking for a foul call. And it is a shot clock violation. A 38-34 lead, holding on to this lead despite the fact they've hit only 1 of 7 from the field in the second quarter. Hornets, though, spending lots of time at the line. They are 11 of 12 at the line, while Nuggets have been to the foul line only twice. Anderson had to let that go. He thought the shot by Anthony would drop, and then it's deflected out of bounds. And for those who may have just joined us, the Hornets playing shorthanded tonight. Tyson Chandler is back home in the LA area. His wife Kimberly giving birth to a 6-pound, 10-ounce boy. They already have a daughter. That's a traveling violation. And Mo Peterson missing his 4th consecutive game with a sore right knee.
This is a back-to-back situation as well. They're hoping to have Tyson tomorrow night in Portland. So 3-game road trip. They start out with the Clippers on Monday, get a nice win here tonight on Thanksgiving, and then tomorrow night in Portland, very tough game against Portland, who is undefeated at home.
Stojakovic able to swing inside, rebounded by Anthony. Protecting the dribble against Stojakovic. Anthony, nice pass for Anderson. Anderson on the follow.
Just energy plays, hustle plays. All of them. He's had a dunk and 2 offensive rebounds, so 6 points off the bench for the Birdman.
6 points along with 5 rebounds for Anderson, playing only his 7th game of the season. He's back from that fractured rib injury. Posey on a catch and shoot for 3, and the ball back to Denver.
Mark, just to follow up on a point you made a while ago, that free throw line, only 2 attempts for the Denver Nuggets. They average almost 33 a game, which is 1st in the league. They shot 43 last night, shot 48 against Milwaukee, 19 in the first quarter. So if you keep them off the free throw line, you really limit them offensively.
Quiet start here for Anthony. Lost it. Played well by Butler. Rasul Butler able to break it up. Also a quiet start for Paul. Posey taking that flip pass from Paul is fouled. Foul committed by Kenyon Martin. That's his 2nd.
This is what New Orleans wants to do. They want to get out and run. Kenyon Martin there sort of punches that ball out and gets the foul. James Posey will go to the line, and So much has been made of the offseason acquisition of James Posey. We know about his championship with the Miami Heat and also with the Boston Celtics. He gives them such great versatility. Marv, he can guard the 2-man, the 3, the 4. He can space the floor and shoot the ball. And he's a real winner. And he's brought that championship attitude here to New Orleans. And they hope he's going to be a guy that help gets them to the next level. But I tell you what, the Los Angeles Lakers right now are playing incredible basketball.
Record of 12-1. Doing it at both ends. They have not needed prolific scoring from Kobe Bryant. And what a bench has been developed by Phil Jackson.
And energy, I mean, Farmar, Vujacic, Ariza, you got Lamar Odom coming off the bench. I mean, Chris Mim and Luke Walton can't even get into the rotation.
Nice pass, and Anthony puts it down. Only a second field goal. Also a very quiet first half for the man with the basketball, Chris Paul. 0 for 1 from the field, has not scored. He has 3 assists, and he does have 1 steal. So he has at least 1 steal now in 98 consecutive games. Fouls out Anderson. The NBA record is 105 straight. That is held by Alvin Robertson of San Antonio. And Chris Paul comes off 2 consecutive triple doubles.
When you think about that, now this guy is under 6 feet tall. I mean, look at the guys he's in there with, Michael Jordan and Alvin Robertson.
Oh, I know you were instrumental.
I worked on his anticipation all year long with that. All kinds of reflexive drills and things. Marv, it finally kicked in towards the end of the year.
Michael often talks about that.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of things.
Anthony. It's over the backboard, and once again, ball carried out of bounds, so the Hornets take over.
Well, you talk about Chris Paul, and Denver's really trying to take the ball out of his hands as much as they can. You run the risk of doing that. He's so elusive that he just weaves in and finds open people. So if you're going to trap him, you better do a good job of keeping him out of that paint.
Coming up on 3 minutes to play in the first half, the Hornets in possession. They lead by 2. West forced it. Rebound Martin. J.R. Smith, who just checked back in, gets it ahead to Chauncey Billups. Billups with a beautiful crossover move to the reverse, and it's put down by Smith.
Well, Byron Scott's not going to be happy with the defensive rebounding. You talked about that before the game. All 5 guys had to rebound, and Marv, we've seen at least 5 or 6 times tonight where somebody has just slashed in, whether it be a Chris Anderson or at that time a J.R. Smith, and get an easy basket.
14 points for Smith. Oh, strong move by Paul, and that is his first bucket.
You were talking about those triple doubles. You think about that, Marv. He's under 6 feet tall. I mean, you think of the 10 assists, 10 plus points, but 10 rebounds?
That was the case in the Hornets' last game this past Monday night against the Clippers. 14 points, 17 assists, 10 rebounds. Anthony. So Carmelo able to take it to the rim. He now has 6 points. Game is tied at 42.
And the game plan is with Stojakovic on him is to double team him at all costs. But they have just been giving up the baseline. Here is Stojakovic unloading that 3. So if you're going to get spread out, they now have shooters on the floor with Stojakovic and James Posey.
The Pager, his second from downtown. The Hornets 45 and the Nuggets 42. Coming up on a minute and a half left in this first half. Again, Anthony to the rim.
That's 3 straight times now that they've gone right at Peja Stojakovic, and James Posey, I think, is looking at him and saying, I'll take him the next time down the floor. So let's see if they switch that matchup.
West getting inside. That's too easy.
Again, you're trapping. When you're going to trap Chris Paul, you're going to open up avenues for him to find the open man.
11 points for David West. And Anderson is tripped up by Brown.
You start learning the game, and you start realizing that, everybody in the world know I can score the basketball. So me going out on the court, I can do that with my eyes closed. But people want to see me make Nene better, make Kenyon Martin better, make, Lennox Klayser better, make JR better. Go out there and rebound, win games by rebounding the basketball. Last year I found myself just some games with 3 rebounds and 4 rebounds and, 5 rebounds. And I don't think I can do that anymore.
Well, Carmelo's scoring numbers are down, but his rebounds and assists are up. 9 rebounds, nearly 5 assists per game. After the Olympics, Doug, he talked about becoming a more well-rounded player. Here is Phillips, and a foul is called. And that has been the case. In fact, George Karl has been telling Carmelo, as Paul picked up the foul, he said, just be relaxed on your scoring. Don't force it. The scoring will happen. We like the way you're playing.
Well, you think about last year, too. They had Marcus Camby. He averaged 13 rebounds a game. Many instances last year, Denver was such a running team. Carmelo didn't even go to the defensive backboard. He leaked out, and they like to throw ahead to him early so he could beat the double teams down the floor, and he got a lot of scores out early because he leaked out and allowed Marcus Camby to do a lot of the rebounding. Well, Marcus Camby's gone now, so they need Carmelo Anthony and Kenyon Martin, all 3 to rebound because they're a strong front line in terms of physically, but they're undersized. They're not a tall front line.
Hornets with the ball, lead by 1. 45 seconds to play in this first half. Devin Brown to the crossover. And here is Posey. Yes, that's a 3 for Posey.
Now we talked about the importance of the three-point shooting. That is the 5th make. They're +9 behind the three-point line and +11 at the free throw line.
Oh, Phillips thought he had the step. Nice recovery. Batted away by Paul. 5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Paul playing the clock. Has it down to 10 on the 24.
Oh my, just a beautiful cross-court pass.
Posey not able to take advantage, and a foul as Phillips and Brown came together, and the foul is charged to Phillips. So the Nuggets over the foul limit. Devin Brown will go to the line. Coming up, it's the T-Mobile halftime report. Mark Fine in for Ernie Johnson, Charles and Kenny. On hand, they'll have scores and highlights. Devin Brown out of Texas San Antonio, and he's moved past Mike James as the backup point guard. Spent last year with Cleveland. This is his second go-around with the Hornets. He's played for Utah, he's played for Denver, and his hometown team, the Spurs.
He's a tough player. I like him. I actually had him in Washington a little bit in preseason and just didn't have room for him on the team.
Smith with a rainbow 3, and that's the end of the first half, with the Hornets leading the Nuggets 52 to 46. Balanced scoring for New Orleans, led by David West with 11, 8 apiece for Stojakovic, Butler, and Eli. And Chris Paul with just 2 points, along with 4 assists. The high man for Denver, J.R. Smith, 6 of 10 from the field for 14 points. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, David, obviously balanced scoring, except for Chris Paul, who only took 2 shots. How are you guys able to build up this big lead with him having such a low output offensively?
Well, you know, he's patient. He's not going to rush anything. He's been getting guys good looks. You know, guys in the corner have been wide open. They're really making a point to get the ball out of his hands.
Doug mentioned one of the keys was to keep Denver off the free throw line. Defensively, how are you doing such a good job without fouling?
Just trying to make these guys work for everything they get. You know, no reaching, no stabbing, just making sure we're solid and they're shooting over top of them.
The feeling George Karl talked to his team at halftime about attacking that rim and getting to the free throw line. Marv, again, only 4 free throw attempts. They average almost 33 a game. So let's see in the third quarter if they come out and find a way to get to the foul line.
Well, since that man came to the Denver Nuggets, Nuggets have gone 9 up and 2 down. The losses to the Lakers and the Cavaliers. Denver 1 up, 3 down before the trade was made with Detroit. It is New Orleans ball as we get underway third quarter. The Hornets at 8-5, second in the Southwest Division, in the NBA's toughest division, which includes San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. There's Paul firing one up. Kept alive by Armstrong. Hilton Armstrong starting for Tyson Chandler tonight. Mo Peterson also sidelined.
Mark, what I thought was a big advantage for the Denver front line in this game with no Tyson Chandler. Actually, the New Orleans front line outplayed the Nugget front line in that first half.
Butler off the hesitation move and hits. Rasul Butler. 4 for 4 from the field. He has 10 points.
Well, they're trying to get him to handle the ball a little bit more, put Paul off the ball so he doesn't have to use up a lot of energy, then get him the ball and let him attack so he doesn't have to play up against full court defense.
Phillips got to kick it back out. Martin, standing one-hander by Kenyon Martin. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig.
Well, Doug mentioned the highlight for Denver that first half was J.R. Smith coming off the bench scoring 14 points. George Karl said, well, you know, I benched him and fined him for missing practice. He didn't play last night. He's well rested. He should be playing well. As for the free throw discrepancy, he said it seems that they went in, had a few easy shots near the basket, then lost confidence and stopped attacking. He said obviously he thinks that New Orleans is playing good defense, zoning up without fouling. He said, but we have to be far more aggressive offensively.
All right, Craig. Bennett Salvatore saying stay right here as he calls foul number 3 on Kenyon Martin.
That's a tough matchup, Kenyon Martin with David West, so he has to be very careful if David West goes down in the post not to pick up his 4th.
Dante Jones all over Chris Paul. Stojakovic for 3, and he's had the touch tonight.
You cannot help off the corner. It's called the strong side corner there, Marv. So when Chris Paul penetrates, the easiest pass to make is that pass. You've got to stay with the shooter, especially Stojakovic. No mistake by Carmelo Anthony.
Martin. And here comes Paul, eluding Jones, trying to chase him from behind. Good job by Phillips closing on Butler, not allowing the shot. And Paul can reset. Wide open shot for Butler, and that's a 3.
See, I don't think you can double team and trap Chris Paul like that, because he will take the double team, and then you get the hockey assist. Actually, the second pass leads to the open three-point shot. I think Denver has to really think about the defense right now. They're playing on Chris Paul and the commitment to trap him and get the ball out of his hands.
Sue Butler 5 for 5, 13 points. Block shot by West. Butler's hit 3 from downtown. And here's Armstrong. Wide open lane. You touched on it earlier. I know the guys talked about it at the halftime. Despite the fact that Chris Paul had only that 1 field goal in the first half, and we're looking at 1 for 3 from the field, 1 steal and 6 assists. Stojakovic called for the foul. Not overwhelming statistics, but he's controlling the game.
Yes, yeah, and because what's happened is Denver's made a huge commitment to try to get the ball out of his hands, and he's just finding the open man, and then it might be the extra pass that's getting the open shot.
Hornets have their biggest lead of the night. Martin got the step. Kenyon Martin taking right to the rim.
That's the game that Kenyon Martin wants to play. He started out the first half hitting an outside jump shot, the second half as well. Sometimes you fall in love with that. He's an attacking player that gets to the rim and gets to the foul line.
Sue Butler has had the hot hand. Beautiful move around Phillips for the reverse. Rasul Butler with 15 points in his 7th year out of LaSalle, in his 4th season with the Hornets. 2 years ago, he averaged 10 points a game. He's an instant offense type guy, and he's in the starting lineup because Mo Peterson is out with that sore right knee.
And Chauncey Billups is playing him because they have Dante Jones playing Chris Paul. They're wanting to use more of his speed and size on Chris Paul. So we saw early in the game Chauncey Billups take Paul into the post. That time you see Rasul Butler repay the favor. And, you know, when Rasul Butler knocks down shots and Stojakovic, it just gives so many open areas for Chris Paul and David West to go to work.
Phillips looking for point number 8. Denver at 10-5 on the season. They have won 8 of the last 10, including those victories at Boston and at San Antonio. They're 9 up, 2 down since the trade with Detroit, since Phillips was acquired in the deal involving Allen Iverson. But struggling here tonight after a fast start. Paul pass number 3. Stojakovic with the dunk on the move for 3. Rebounded by Anthony.
Nice job by Dante Jones, forcing him to dribble the ball, disrupt his rhythm.
Anthony, nice move, and he's fouled. Able to split through off the head fake, although Stojakovic does not like the call. Foul is called on Hilton Armstrong. And that's 4 on Armstrong.
Well, this is what's happened since the trade, and you see the numbers, and interestingly enough today, Thanksgiving, Allen Iverson did not go to practice in Detroit, and I'm understanding he's probably going to be fine, and whether or not he starts the next game, it'll be interesting. But being 5-5 right now, the last thing they want to deal with is any kind of situation where a guy misses practice. Now you have to deal with those kind of issues. So it'll be interesting to see how Detroit handles that.
Pistons overall record of 9-5. They are second in the Central, behind the Cavaliers, who have played so well. 4 minutes in, third quarter. It appeared that Jones was able to pick it off, but instead of foul, it is on Dante Jones. Dante in a 6th year out of Duke. And it says in the Nuggets media guide that Dante points out if he wasn't a basketball player, he would be in investment banking. I think Dante made the right decision.
Yeah, he's on a fixed salary right now. He doesn't want to be in investments. Right now he wants to make sure he's got a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Those Duke guys know what they're doing. Foul is on Jones. That's his second.
You got to be careful now. You don't want to be picking up quick fouls where you start getting into the penalty quickly. Again, New Orleans is a team that only shoots 22 free throws a game, so they do not get to the line, although they shoot them well. Here's an offensive foul on Hilton Armstrong.
That's 5 on Armstrong. And this is where Byron Scott, as he was talking to us prior to the game tonight, felt that he was really short-handed without Tyson Chandler. So Armstrong makes his 3rd start of the season. And then he came in with Melvin Eli. He does have Sean Marks available. Marks has missed all 13 games with a pulled hamstring, but ready to go tonight if needed. Nene gets down low. Rebounded by West as Eli hurt his left foot. Eli replacing Armstrong and comes hobbling back up court. Eli blocked by Martin. Nice pass on the bounce thrown by West, and a foul is called. Foul committed by Dante Jones. That's his 3rd.
It looks like that left ankle is heavily taped, Marv, when you see it here, but he comes, he rolls that thing over pretty good, and actually it looked like he had a dunk on the other end, and I think that ankle was still bothering him, and he could not have the lift to finish it, although there was a loose ball foul on the play in New Orleans inbounds on the side.
J.R. Smith, who had the hot hand of the first half, is checked back in for Denver. Stojakovic stripped. And a reach-in foul called on Eli.
Eli, his first time in the game, actually was very productive. He played a little under 8 minutes in that first half, had 8 points and 3 rebounds, so did a nice job, and actually enabled Byron Scott to rest David West and Hilton Armstrong, so they'll be fresh for the finish.
Hornets with their 4th team foul. Nuggets also have 4. And a feeling for Eli. And a traveling violation is called.
You know, Marv, other than the first 3 minutes of the game when Denver was creating those turnovers, they've had no rhythm in this game at all offensively. They've been disjointed. The shots have not come in the flow of the game, and they're really struggling turning the ball over, and you can see in a half-court game they're still not where they want to be.
Butler on a catch and shoot for 3. Rasul Butler 7 for 7. 18 points, that's his 4th three-pointer.
The difference is right now Denver does not have any three-point shooters on the floor other than J.R. Smith. This is a mid-range game that they have. That's why they want to get to the rim. They'll live with all those jump shots, those long twos.
Anthony able to knock it down. He's 5 of 8, 12 points. But the Nuggets not getting much from Kenyon Martin, just 6 points. Nene has 4, Billups with 8. Anthony with the save, and here comes Billups. He pulls it up. Yes, that's a 2-pointer. He had a foot on the line. The Hornets lead 67-58.
How often did we see that in Detroit? How often he ran into that three-point shot? As you said, he did have his foot on the line, but he loves to take that three pulling up on the break.
Eli sets the pick. Shot clock down to 5. Ball on the drive was rejected. J.R. Smith around Peja Stojakovic.
Hey, Byron Scott will want a timeout here. Finally a little rhythm. for Denver.
Thrown for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, although it has been another very rough season, not only for Notre Dame, but for the Orange of Syracuse.
Those are your Orange, too.
Yes. 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Stojakovic for 3, rebounded by Martin.
That's a very tough shot. And once again on the fast break here, it looks like Nene gets the ball knocked out of his hands. But Marv, what Denver's done here over the last 2 quarters, 16-2 advantage fast break, now 20-4. So 20 of the 60 points, 33% of the Denver offense has been off fast breaks.
Hornets have led by as many as 14. And the Nuggets able to cut that lead in half. The outside official, Bennett Salvatore, indicating a pushing foul. It's on Devin Brown, who just checked back in. So Nene to the line with the Hornets over the foul limit. A programming reminder, national coverage of the NBA continues Friday on ESPN. The Heat and the Sun, followed by the Mavericks and the Lakers, starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Lakers at 12-1, best record in the NBA. And then Tuesday on NBA TV, it is Fan Night. Lakers take on the Pacers. Coverage starts 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That lead is down to 6. Devin Brown has come off for Chris Paul. Paul is in the backcourt with Devin Brown, along with West, Eli, and Stojakovic. Paul with a whip pass to Stojakovic, but the three-pointer way off the bar, kept alive by Brown, and it's a shot clock violation.
Very stagnant possessions from New Orleans. Probably the last 2 or 3, not a lot of ball movement, holding the ball, shot clock winding down, and George Karl talked about that before the game. He said, New Orleans has a lot of those possessions. We get the last 6 or 7 seconds of the clock, and you can't have a breakdown and give up an open shot. And they've done a better job here in the last 3 or 4 possessions.
Phillips pulls it back for 3. Ball losing Phillips on a pick and on a switch by Nene. See Chris Paul surveying the floor. Nene just looking to stay with him. Paul has to give it up. Shot clock to 3. Here's Eli, way off. And the rebound is swept by Anthony.
Now, point-blank shot by Melvin Eli. Just rushed the shot. He had Carmelo Anthony really buried underneath the basket.
The Nuggets are within 6. Trailing by as many as 14 earlier in the quarter. J.R. Smith, way off. I've been saying way off quite a bit here in this third quarter.
And the pace is
both
really,
ends.
the pace is really slowed right now too, and this plays into the Denver Nuggets favorites, because when you get New Orleans slowed down, you can see they've really struggled here, Marv, to get some good shots.
Now Chauncey Billups will get a rest. Anthony Carter, who played well in the first half, checks back in.
Yeah, 30-second count, please.
And a timeout, apparently with some blood on Kenyon Martin's elbow.
And Marv, as we look at this quarter winding down, remember one of the things that really helped New Orleans in that first quarter was they had a nice lead. So when they rested Chris Paul and David West, they had some cushion. So it's going to be important for New Orleans to finish this quarter strong if they want to be able to rest either 2 of those players going into the fourth quarter.
The Hornets with only 3 points the last 5.5 minutes. Shot clock to 5. Brown rejected. Martin with the block. J.R. Smith for 3. Denver in the midst of an 11-3 spurt to move within 6.
They need to find David West. He's not had any touches here in this quarter.
And that's an open shot for West. Both teams have gone cold here in the third. Nene, and he is fouled. West reaching in. Nene will head back to the line. It's been a strange game for Nene. West picks up his second. 5 points and just 1 rebound. and he was able to get to that rebound just a moment ago.
Well, we also talked about that free throw line at halftime. 4 of 4 the entire first half for Denver. They are now 9 of 10, so this is going to be their 7th and 8th free throws of this quarter. So they're starting to ease themselves back into the game by getting to the foul line, and then you get back and you get your defense set, and then New Orleans is not able to run that ball up the floor so quickly.
Nene coming into tonight averaging 15.5 per game. He is a 75% free throw shooter. So he has really picked it up at the offensive end.
Denver is hoping and praying he can stay healthy this year.
The Hornet lead is down to 4. James Posey just came back in. As Eli makes his move, that will not count. It's a traveling violation.
They really are looking inside to Melvin Eli a lot here. This last 3 or 4 possessions, he's walked. He's had a couple dry possessions, and I think David West being a little bit too unselfish here, Marv. They need him to give them some offense right now.
West has not scored in this third quarter. Chris Anderson has come on now for Nene. Anderson rebounded by West. And it looks like Byron Scott will give Sean Marks a run. Marks over at the scorer's table. Paul draws the foul. Both teams are over the limit. So Sean Marks making his first appearance of the season. He had missed the previous 13 games with a pulled hamstring. There he is in his 10th season out of Cal by way of New Zealand. On December the 7th from TNT and the producer of Independence Day comes the new TNT series Leverage. You can see Academy Award winner Timothy Hutton star in the commercial-free series premiere Sunday, December the 7th, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, presented by Hyundai, only on TNT.
This is New Orleans' first and second free throws of the quarter. So the line is sort of shifted here now in favor of the Denver Nuggets as the game has slowed down. It's going to be interesting again, Marv, to watch Byron Scott's substitution patterns. Is he going to be able to rest Chris Paul and David West? Now they've had about 3 days off. They do play a back-to-back, but tonight you got to focus on getting this game and not worry about Portland.
Yes, tomorrow night they are at Portland, concluding the 3-game Western swing, and then they have 4 days off. They will not be back in action until next Wednesday night at home against the Phoenix Suns.
How about a break in their schedule? They play 5 games in the next 15 days.
There's Marks getting inside.
Now he can do that. He is more athletic than you think, and wherever he's been, he's played pretty well. He played well in San Antonio and Phoenix. He's had some nice runs with some different places, and he's a reliable guy.
Anthony got the step. It counts, and the foul.
Carmelo Anthony not shooting his jump shot well, and this time he just takes the ball into the traffic, and Devin Brown tried to get the charge here, but I think Carmelo Anthony had taken off. He is in the air, and yes, and he moves underneath him, so it's a good call by Bennett Salvatore, an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Third foul on Brown. $15 points for Carmelo. The Hornets 71, the Nuggets 66. Coming up on a minute left in the third. Dennis Klesa switching off to Chris Paul. There's a mismatch with Carter playing West. Paul. So that's a 3-pointer for Chris Paul, who now has 7 points along with 8 assists.
Last year really shot the 3-ball much better, Marv.
J.R. Smith from downtown. He has 19, and the Hornet lead is now 5.
Now Chris Paul shot 37% from 3 last year, had 92 threes, so he added that range to his game, which made him virtually impossible to guard.
Oh, he almost stepped into the backcourt very close as they trapped him off the steal. Here's Carter for Klesa. Had another opportunity. Rebounded by Posey. Crowd wanted a foul. We're down to 15 seconds left in this third quarter.
New Orleans has done a better job closing all quarters, both the first and second quarter. They got baskets, turnovers by Denver. Let's see if they can do it again here in the third.
Here is Paul.
Oh.
He has now worked his way into the scoring column after just that one field goal. In the
Paul very quietly had one field goal until his last two possessions, and then he came on strong. What plans do you have to defend him in the fourth quarter?
Well, I think the one possession at the end of the quarter where we got more aggressive on the double team, we possibly could go to some switching a little bit in the fourth quarter is something we've done sometimes. He's a great player. We just got to kind of get the confidence back. I think we've had good moments, but we just haven't gotten over the hump.
You played so well when you're forcing the turnovers. The momentum was great, and then there seemed to be maybe a lack of tempo. How do you get that back?
Well, I think a lot of our lulls are because of our turnovers, our lack of offensive sense at times. But, you know, we're close. We're close to breaking loose, and hopefully in the fourth quarter we will.
I think.
Well, Marv, interesting, Chris Paul on the bench here for a couple minutes as Sean Marks misses a jumper. J.R. Smith had knocked down a long two to cut it to 5, but Craig Sager said he's going to get a 2-minute rest, and then he will be back.
Here's Posey off the steal, and he's fouled by Anthony.
That's exactly what George Karl was talking about to Craig Sager. Turnovers for the Denver Nuggets. Before that turnover, they'd turned it over 12 times, which is not a lot in number, Marv, but it's led to 19 points. This could be the 20 and 21st points off turnovers. Only 8 points of turnovers for Denver, so that's a 13-point advantage for New Orleans if he knocks both these free throws down.
Posey is 78% free throw shooter. In his 10th season out of Xavier of Ohio, he has played for 2 of the last 3 NBA champions. Celtics last season, member of Miami's title team 3 years ago. New Orleans, his 6th team in 10 seasons.
Could be like Robert Horry. Try to get him on your team if you want to win a championship.
Hornets up by 7. Anthony working down low, gives it right back. Here's Smith from way downtown. Back comes Devin Brown. West played by Klaiser with help. Posey for 3. Back tap, nice job by West.
Good job here. Use clock now. You got a new 24 seconds. You got Chris Paul on the bench resting. Take as much time. Go through David West, who's your scorer on the floor right now.
West comes up short. The rebound in the hands of Smith. JR with 21 points. That's a season high. Nice move around Butler and not able to put it down.
Now, always usually it happens now where they'll come down and hit a 3. Anytime you miss a dunk like that, it seems like you always get punished, Marv, in a game.
You are talking from experience.
Exactly.
From the sideline.
I saw it a couple weeks ago in Golden State. Beardridge missed one, and then Rasheed Wallace came to watch this bank in or something. It always happens.
J.R. Smith played by Rasul Butler. Anthony for 3. Carmelo Anthony has picked it up. He now has 18 points, 7 of 12 shooting. He went away from the outside shot for a while and actually got himself going by taking it to the rim. It's a 4-point Hornet lead. West, he's been quiet in the second half.
Every shot has been front rim. It's like he's not getting his legs in the shot, Marv.
He's 0 for 4 from the field in the second half. Here's Smith for 3.
Those three-pointers are great equalizers. Back-to-back threes. It looked like New Orleans had great control of the game, and guess who's coming back in? Chris Paul.
So the Nuggets are within 1. J.R. Smith, originally a first-round draft pick of the Hornets. Devin Brown way off. Denver can take the lead. They trailed by as many as 14. Good play by Brown to slap it away, but it's recovered. Here's Klaiser. Yes! A 3-pointer for Linus Klaiser, and the Nuggets have a 2-point lead. Back in Denver, Marv Albert with Doug Collins and Craig Sager. The Nuggets have put together a 9-0 run. They've taken the lead for the first time since the early minutes when they were up 12-11. Chris Paul has returned. Paul and Butler in the backcourt with West, Marks, and Posey up front. They double up on Paul. Oh, the steal by Smith. Chased by Paul. Smith stops. J.R. Smith has been the story for the Nuggets. He now has 26 points.
Wouldn't it be amazing if this guy ever could get the discipline to match his talent? I mean, he's an electrifying player.
There's Paul high off glass. J.R. Smith, as I mentioned, originally a first-round pick of the Hornets. And this is third year with Denver. Loves to fire up shots. Last season averaged 12 points per game. Glazer now with 7 points. He's been a factor in this Denver rally.
Now this is where Denver feels like they're much better. They feel like they're a much better fourth quarter team executing in the half court and defending. Let's see how it works tonight.
Butler to the rim and draws the foul.
This young guy reads the play perfectly. Sean Marks going away from the pass, and J.R. Smith with the powerful finish. And then Anthony Carter actually got 2 point guards in the game right now. Anthony Carter and Chauncey Billups in the fourth quarter. Beautiful backdoor play by Lennox Glazer. So look at the bench play tonight. Smith has, 26 points off the bench. Marv Glazer has come to life. He now has 7. Anderson has a nice 6 in that first half when he was very active. So George Karl has been able to go to his bench in a back-to-back game and get a lot of production.
Your computer screen a bit on the blurry
yes,
side.
I've got...
get dizzy looking at it.
I've got my reading glasses on and everything. I still can't see that print.
Foul on Glazer, putting Butler at the line. What a game for Rasul Butler. As I say that, he misses the free throw. That's his first miss. He was 7 for 7 from the field. Now 1 of 2 at the line. Nuggets lead 84-81. 4.5 gone by in the fourth. A step back by Smith. He's around. Stojakovic. Wow. And as we talked about earlier, J.R. Smith benched last night in the game against the Clippers because on Monday he was, as George Karl put it, extremely late for practice. The rest of the team, I have a feeling, was leaving as he was coming in.
Boy, bad shots right now for New Orleans. They have been really out of sync here the last 4 minutes.
Paul, yes. Chris Paul, 11 points, 13 points, 8 assists. And the Nuggets now lead 86-83.
I think this is going to be the J.R. Smith show right now. They're going to try to run him off all kinds of screens. They have James Posey on him now trying to slow him down.
Shot clock is down to 3. Glazer gets inside, blocked by West, and a foul.
This is a late whistle right here. Lennox Glazer felt like in the third quarter he had picked up a foul late that did not get the call. This time, right as the shot clock was going off, and Byron Scott just sort of shakes his head there with a little bit of a wry smile.
Foul on West, that is his third. Lennox Glazer, in the last year of his contract, will be a restricted free agent at season's end, meaning that the Nuggets can match offers. And he was very upset because he thought that he had a deal.
I think what happened also, too, is that Iverson deal presented itself. And I think the fact that they could get maybe close to being below that luxury tax. Stan Kroenke, I think, made the decision. Let's wait with Lennox Glazer. Let's see if we can get down below that luxury tax. And they're close now. I think they're like $900,000 over now, and hoping that maybe still be able to make a deal and be able to get under that tax.
Denver up by 4. Butler played by Smith. Shot clock to 5. Here's Paul to 3.
It's a good job that time by Glazer. You want him to shoot the long jump shot. If you can prevent him from getting in the lane and creating and getting to one of your 3-point shooters.
Alex directing traffic. Carter's pass picked off by Stojakovic.
It's a bad decision there. How much careless passing have we seen in this game tonight? There's just no chance for the pass to get through. This is the guy they need to go to work down here on that shot.
And that will count as a goaltend. The basket counts. David West gets credit.
This shot was going to be way over the rim, and Chris Anderson actually was on the backside of the rim there. I think Lou Grillo said that he grabbed the rim, so that shot was going to be missed.
And for West, his first points of the second half, 13 for the night. Billups, yes.
Vintage Chauncey Billups, that little move going left, the pump fake, the step back. And Marv, you've got to be exceptionally strong in your upper body to be able to make that play.
Billups 12 points, 5 assists. Nuggets 89 and the Hornets 85, just under 5 remaining in the fourth. Paul got the step, and that's a miscommunication defensively by the Nuggets.
We're set up for a nice finish here, Marv. Exciting finish. Who's going to be able to execute? Who's going to make the big shots? The Hornets are plus 17 on the bench, minus 19. A lot of that is the fact that Denver's bench 42 to 23 tonight. J.R. Smith with 28 has really been the story.
The Nuggets with an 89-87 lead. Anthony able to make the turn. Pass mishandled. Martin not able to hold on, and a foul is called. Anthony hitting the floor, and the foul is on Carmelo. That's his third.
Another unforced error. Looked like Kenyon Martin, had he caught that ball, would have had an easy dunk. He fumbled the pass, and Chris Paul flirting against once again with a triple-double. Only 4 rebounds tonight. I'd be shocked if he could get 6 in the last 4.5 minutes.
He's had triple-doubles his last 2 outings. That was team foul number 3 on the Nuggets. Butler for 3. Finally missed a shot. Oh, Anthony felt that he took a shot to the side of the head, and he is correct. 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. And as Billups makes the turn, he's fouled by Paul.
See, it's hard right now, because with J.R. Smith being in the game, Chris Paul can't go over and play like a Dante Jones like he did early, so now he has to play J.R. Smith. And now you've got Rasul Butler with Chauncey Billups. So let's see now these matchups, how that works out.
Shot clock is down to 7. Billups fires for 3. Rebounded by Posey. Hornets down by 2. They've led by as many as 14. They had the big second quarter, which included an 18-2 spurt. Shot clock to 4.
Oh, no. Did you see that?
A look-away move by Paul, but he could not finish.
And he looked like he took the ball between his legs in the lane, and it hit a fading jump shot. I mean, he missed a fading jump shot. Watch this, Marv. Like, he's going to get inside. And watch this little move in the lane so quickly. He puts it between his legs the other way. This young guy is a magician with a basketball.
That's out of the pages of Pistol Pete. The officials confer, and it was last touched by the Hornets. As I think back to the theatrics of Pistol Pete Maravich, you would see him put the ball between his legs, but not in that manner.
Yeah, he went the other way.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Stojakovic jumping out on Billups. Shot clock to 5. Smith is fouled. He's hit on the arm by Posey. So Smith to the line. 13 foul called on New Orleans. National coverage of the NBA continues Friday on ESPN. It's the Heat and the Suns, followed by the Mavericks and those red-hot Lakers. Coverage begins 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then Tuesday on NBA TV, it's Fan Night. Lakers go up against the Indiana Pacers. Coverage beginning at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. J.R. Smith barely got rim.
Well, the pace of this game has slowed dramatically. 52 points at halftime for New Orleans. They only have 11 points now in this quarter. Been outscored 20-11. And last year we would not have talked about the Denver Nuggets winning games on the defensive end. They have become a much better defensive team, and a lot of the reasons is, Marv, is they're taking better control of the ball, and their shot selection is better.
J.R. Smith now with 29 points in 30 minutes. They try to trap Paul.
And he's been the difference in the game if Denver can hold on and win this game tonight.
And if J.R. continues to play like this, I think George Karl may be picking him up in the morning with coffee in hand to drive him to practice.
When he was in New Orleans, it was a great line. He was playing actually for Byron Scott, and he was late for a couple practices, and he just said, you know, I'm just not a morning person.
Yeah. Phillips on the foul. That's his second. So Byron did not reschedule practices for later in the day.
No, it was, you better get here earlier, young man. Actuality, he was in the deal. He went to Chicago in the deal with Tyson Chandler going to New Orleans, and then came right on to here, never ever played for Chicago, and then was traded here.
Denver over the foul limit. So Paul at the line. He's 3 of 3 at the line. In this fourth quarter, the Hornets shooting just 4 for 14 from the field. Nuggets 8 of 11, led by J.R. Smith. And the Nuggets now have a 1-point lead as we approach 2.5 remaining in this fourth. Nice pass to set it up for Nene.
It's been a tough night for David West. He's never gotten in the game offensively, and they're a defensive mistake, and he allowed Nene just a point-blank layup.
Hornets down by 3. Butler played by Smith, gives it right back to Paul on the shot clock. Down to 4. Here's Paul with a long 3. Yes! And the game is tied.
That was 8 feet behind the line, wasn't it? I mean, that was a 30-foot shot.
And it was effortless. 18 of Paul's 20 points have come in the second half. Martin drills it. Rebounded by Butler.
See, that's not a good shot at that time. You know, Kenyon Martin, you'll live with that again once again if you're New Orleans, making him take that jump shot.
Game tied at 92. Stojakovic pass rescued by Butler. Stojakovic for 3. Timeout, Denver.
This could be a 4-point play that makes it a 2-possession game. So it looked like Denver sort of had the game in hand. And that long 3-point shot by Chris Paul, then the 3 by Stojakovic. Now he's going to the line here to try to make this a 4-point play.
Peja Stojakovic, who has not been shooting well, has had a big night. 5 for 11, 14 points. He's hit 4 3-pointers. And he's now shooting the technical. 93% at the line last season. One of the better free throw shooters in the NBA, although he does not go to the line these days as frequently as he did as a member of the Sacramento Kings.
That's his first free throw of the game, his 14th of the year. So he shoots 1 free throw a game.
And it is a 4-point play for the Hornets, who now lead it 96-92 with 1:26 left in the fourth quarter.
I would expect Carmelo Anthony to be involved in this play.
Anthony puts the move on Stojakovic, and he's fouled on a reach-in.
I don't understand the defensive assignment there with Stojakovic on Carmelo Anthony. There's no way he can play him with that quickness. We saw him early in the first half score 3 straight possessions, and so you come right out of that timeout in 7 seconds. Carmelo's going to get to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
He is 3 of 3 at the line. The foul on Stojakovic, his second. So the Hornets are over the limit, as are the Nuggets. Here's Anthony Carter coming on, replacing J.R. Smith. I don't know if George Karl is doing an offensive defense.
That Red Holzman offense defense that you grew up with the Knicks. And Marv, what you're going to see here with New Orleans, this is where their 3-point shooting is so important. Normally it's a Chris Paul, Tyson Chandler screen roll, but now it's going to be Chris Paul and David West with 3-point shooters out there. So if you trap them, be prepared for one of those guys to spot up and shoot a 3.
Good job by Butler getting it across against the pressure. Hornets up by 2. And we're down to a minute remaining in this fourth quarter. Shot clock at 4, at 3. Paul, it's tipped home. What a play by West.
And I just said he'd been quiet all night long. That was a heads-up play, an air ball.
The Hornets up by 4 with 45 seconds to play. Phillips on the drive, pushes it out. Anthony for 3, and he is fouled by Posey.
Well, we've seen some really, what do you call tough plays here. I mean, guys just not using their heads. I mean, the last thing you want to do, Marv, is foul a three-point shooter, especially. I know that Carmelo Anthony's hit a 3 tonight, but he's had 11 on the season. So, I mean, if he makes the 3, fine. Now you put him to the line and got a chance to bring this game back to 1. So
tough is a kind word.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, I guess you could say, a dumb foul. And Posey normally does not make those kind of fouls. He's one of the smarter defensive players in the game. That's why he's out there on the floor right now.
So 3 free throws for Carmelo Anthony, who's 6 of 6 at the line. It's a 3-point Hornet lead. And he gets the roll. Denver has 2 20-second timeouts remaining. They used all their full. And the Hornets in good shape. They have a full and 2 20s.
It'll be interesting to see if Byron Scott takes a timeout. The last time up the floor, Denver tried to press a little bit to get some clock off, so it took some time away. That's a big miss, and they don't come up with a rebound.
A dangerous pass from away over the shoulder, but he found Anthony, and the game is tied. Can you imagine throwing a pass like that?
No.
Down the stretch?
No.
Ten on the shot clock. Posey. Yes, a 3 for Posey. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Craig Sager. We are at the Pepsi Center in Denver. Down to 19 seconds to play. Both clubs over the limit. Hornets have the full timeout and 2 20s. Nuggets down to a 20-second timeout. And by virtue of that 3-pointer by Posey a moment ago, New Orleans up by 3. J.R. Smith is back in. Here is Phillips for 3, and that's off the mark, but it's punched out and recovered by Stojakovic. They have to foul him, and they do. Martin called for the foul with 7.4 to go.
It's just interesting, Marv. Just, teams have personalities, and you talk about three-point shooting and how important it is for New Orleans. But how about the 100-point mark? I mean, they're going to be 7-0 if they go in and win this game. How about over the last 2 years? 44-8. I mean, that's an astonishing number. It tells you when they get the tempo in their favor, they are so tough to beat. And those three-point shooters, you spread the court, and you've got Chris Paul with the ball in his hands, and he's penetrating, and you give any kind of help, and they're going to let him go.
New Orleans hitting 12 for 23 from three-point range. Denver just 6 for 16, and Byron Scott's team up by 4. Peja Stojakovic has come up big here tonight. He has 16 points. Chris Paul with 20 points, 10 assists. How about Rasul Butler? 7 of 8 from the field, 19 points. That big tip a moment ago by David West, who had been quiet in the second half. So West with 15 and 8. James Posey now with 10 points as Denver takes its final timeout.
Well, we talked about a couple hours ago the keys, tempo of the game. I just spoke about the 100-point mark. They're now going to be 7-0 frontline starters. I thought it would be a decided advantage for Denver. New Orleans had played them to a standstill. Three-point shooting plus 18 for New Orleans. And the leading men, Chris Paul tonight, 20 points and 10 assists. More importantly, some huge plays in that fourth quarter. Marv, that 3 he hit, where he was way behind the three-point line to tie the game. And then the beautiful penetration and kick to James Posey, who sort of atoned for that foul on Carmelo Anthony when he fouled him shooting a three-point shooter, buried the 3, and that's why they picked up James Posey for moments like that kind of shooting.
And the Hornets doing this without their starting center, Tyson Chandler, without their starting shooting guard, Mo Peterson, and they played well on the road. They will make it a record of 5-2 away from home. Here's Smith for 3 with 4.3 to go. A long 3. The Hornets with a 103-101 lead. And a timeout is called. Denver just used its final timeout. We're down to 4 seconds to go, 4.3 to be precise. It's a 2-point lead for the Hornets, and the Nuggets have to foul immediately.
Now get the ball either Chris Paul or Peja Stojakovic. That's what you want to do, and then hope that they make 2. And then Denver has no timeouts, so that would basically seal the deal unless New Orleans really made a silly play. Although we've had 2 4-point plays in this quarter.
Posey inbounds to the backcourt, played by Paul, being chased, and Smith able to reach out, commits the foul, but the Hornets able to work 2 seconds off the clock.
I like it now that you can throw in the backcourt. I remember Marv coaching. People don't realize how tough it is to try to get the ball inbounds when you can only throw it into the half court. And when you can spread the floor out like that and throw that ball to Chris Paul, now he's got 2 free throws here. If he knocks these down, again, the game is basically over.
Paul is now 5 for 5 at the line. He's an 86% free throw shooter, and the Hornets lead by 3. Denver without any timeouts remaining, and you know that the Hornets will just step away. They don't want to commit a foul. So that should wrap it. Paul with 22 points, 20 coming in the second. Oh, the steal by Paul, and this one is over. The Hornets with an impressive road victory. They go to 9-5 on the season. That's their 4th straight win. Denver drops to 10-6. They had won 8 of their previous 10, and the Nuggets continue to have problems with the Hornets. That goes back to last season.
Well, I think that Byron Scott has to be very happy. His team had an edge tonight. You know, they played a little bit of fits and spurts, and when Chris Paul was out of the game, they struggled. But big win here tonight. That's now 4 straight wins going to Portland. And again, Marv, you spoke about their schedule. They only play 5 games in the next 15 days, a chance to practice, rest, and get healthy and be prepared.
So Chris Paul, 22 points. The huge second half, 20 coming in the second half, along with 10 assists. An outstanding all-around performance, and he is with Craig Sager.
Well, Chris, 20 of your 22 points in that second half. What were you doing differently, and how big is this win for you guys?
This is a big win for us. You know, I just try to be more aggressive in the second half. I'm one of those people that try to let the game come to me. But right before the third quarter, Coach said, we need you to get it going a little bit, so I tried to.
You guys lost the lead, lost the momentum in the fourth quarter. You're down 92-89, shot clock running out. You threw up one from 30-some feet out there that went in. What's your range on those threes?
It's calling having God on your side. that was a timely shot, you know, but you know, it was a close game. J.R. Smith shot the ball amazing tonight, and this was a great win for our team.
There's also another play where you were driving to the basket, then dribbled between your legs backwards. Do you practice that, or was that a mistake?
Yeah, Nene helped me too. That should have been a foul, but just different things we do every day in practice. When you have a guy like David West standing behind you, guys will go for that fake a lot of times because he's a great shooter.
All right, now this is 4 straight wins. You play tomorrow at Portland. You went through a stretch where you lost 5 out of 7. How have things come together now?
We're still nowhere where we need to be, but you know, this is a great win for us. You know, we have a team that's trying to gel. We still got to get a little bit better on both ends of the court, but we're going to take this win and see if we can get another one tomorrow in Portland.
Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, and I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all my family back home. I love y'all, I miss y'all, and I'll see you Christmas.
I love you too. Back to you, Mark.